49p. You're welcome back. It's the 21st of November 2022. And this is 49p migration and the response to video 49o. My cat is here having a little bit of fun in the studio. I left the door open. Anyway, one of the things in the last video is that I'm recording this on a very good smartphone. Very good, but it has the camera on this side, and if I don't put a piece of paper or something, I could mistake which side the lens is on, and I end up talking to this side. So that's why that happened. No big deal. Now, I want to deal with the responses. By now, you'll have seen 45O on migration, and if you haven't, please see it, because you really cannot deal with the comments on it without seeing it. So we'll just read them all here, and the first comment is from one chap called John. You're a true warrior. God bless you. I feel the same. So that's one person. I think that person's down the south of Ireland. In fact, I kind of know that. So that's all right. That's very good. And that got 2 likes. Now, the next one is Kelly. No idea who Kelly is. And I don't want to know, really, Kelly. I don't know if it's a man or woman. Gemma Doherty was slaughtered for saying the same thing 2 years ago. The problem with Gemma Doherty is she's not playing the game right. She's not playing as a team. She rejected all my attempts to speak to her and to organise elections, and I know how to do them and how to count and all that sort of stuff. Moreover, when she was prosecuted for putting the sign up on Kilmacallan Bridge, she failed to consult me, and I believe she should have been acquitted, because there's an old English common law rule that a police officer is incapable of being provoked. And part of the charge she had was under the Violent Disorder Act. It involves a breach of the peace. You have to commit a breach of the peace, and you cannot commit a breach of the peace if it's a police officer. So I would have got her off on that. I don't have much time for Gemma Doherty because of her selfish way of going on, and I cannot understand John Waters for not consulting me, or not at least listening to my side. How come all the groups, except 1 or 2, all the groups in the pylons and the wind farms will deal with me and talk to me, and she never doesn't even know what I have to say, right? So I've just ejected the cat. Ejected the cat because she was distracting me. So that's the thing about Gemma Doherty. No, Gemma did probably some good, but the thing about a campaign on any subject is that you take help everywhere you get it. You take help everywhere you get it. And when any member of the group or the campaign behaves in a selfish way, or a way that is not conducive to victory, I begin to wonder what's going wrong. It's the same as North East Pylon Pressure Group. Why didn't they take their case under the Aarhus Convention and the SCA Directive instead of the silly ones they did? And now there are similar cases being taken and they're being won. So I wonder what's going on. It may be just ignorance, but it's no excuse. No excuse for ignorance. Now, so that's Gemma Doherty. Good luck to her. I don't think she's going to be the answer to anything. Now, the next one is T2T, and a picture of a chap there with a child. And you are right, Val, 100%. So that's encouraging. And C, no update on the Oasis Tracy Hotel silence. I have been following this story and it's gone cold. Do the people of Carrick or Kingsford not care that there is a murder on the outskirts of the town? I don't know if it's a murder or not. I was going over to Carrickmacross one day around lunchtime, and I saw all the guards there, and I learned that there was someone died. I learned the guards were called out the evening before. We know it's a place where a whole lot of migrants are being held, being housed, and all that, and all the controversies to it. I presume the man there was a post-mortem. I didn't see any detail of a burial. No one seems to know anything about a burial, which would happen anyway. There definitely was a body. There's definitely a death. There'll have to be a coroner's inquest. Now, I'm very busy. I am way behind with all me typing for groups and everything else, and fighting corruption. But what I would say there to Cat 2 is, write in a letter to the local chief superintendent in Monaghan of the Gardaí and ask him what's the story up to date. Or write to the Garda press office. It doesn't matter whether you get a reply or not. Never fail to write or commit to paper because you think you won't get an answer. I have a lot of corrupt regulators in Ireland pinned down because they fail to answer questions. I just love doing it. They're paid to do that. Let them do it. Now, we don't know. We don't know. Maybe the cause of death was accidental. Maybe it was falling out a window. We don't know. We just don't know. And to be honest, I don't think it's necessary for me to know all that for my campaign. Anyway, we'll go on here. Here's Betty Blue. Any update on the death of a migrant in the Oasis Hotel? Maybe you should contact Councillor Carthy in Carrick. He was on the radio talking about it when it happened, but now the radio is silenced. Well, you see, Betty Blue, my campaign does not involve investigating crimes. I know that in the case of a lot of burglaries and that the guards are not investigating crimes. I have that from within the force. But I'm not in the job of investigating crimes. And even if I prove there's something wrong, what does it gain my campaign? I just don't see what it is. But you can definitely inquire yourself. Definitely inquire directly of the guards. A Freedom of Information Act thing costs maybe about 700. It's a lot of money. But I write and ask them, is there? Now, the other thing is, write to the coroner and ask the coroner to notify you, tell them you have a special interest when the inquest takes place. There has to be a coroner's inquest. So write in your letter and say, I want to be told when the inquest is taking place. Also, watch the net or the internet when the inquests are on. There'll be inquests about usually every 6 months, maybe every year. Go in and sit there and see what happens, okay? Now, the next one is Kenneth Killian. Val, we need to protest en masse. Well, unfortunately, there are protests. There was a protest in East End in Dublin last week. It is causing a bit of stir, but you see, they know that the people are too spread out for a group to get a seat in the Dáil. And I'm not sure that protesting is the answer. I think it's to win seats, poison the name of the politicians who are doing it, try and make their name toxic. I was part of a group in Dublin in the election. I think it was, don't ask me the year, it was about 2018. And anyway, Alex White was running. He was the Minister for Energy. And Alex White was running for election in Churchtown. And 80 of us went up and went door to door and asked the people not to elect him. And that's something country people should do in Dublin with the Greens. People should travel to Eamon Ryan's constituency, get a map of it, get the voters list, go around the doors and knock on the doors and tell them with the problem with this idiot that they've elected. And poison him. We did it and put Alex White lost his seat. We tried it with Damien English and there was 70 or 80 of us there. A lot of good, decent people. We just didn't succeed in putting Damien English out. But we've done our best. That's the way I do. And when you go into them doors, say anything. Get them out. Try to poison the people against voting for them. So the another one here is Cat 2 asking Colin McCarthy, Colin McCarthy's an economist. Colin McCarthy, he's the one to talk to. I think he's a Sinn Féin councillor in Carrickmacross. I think he's a brother of Matt. Don't ask me. I know Matt personally. I mean, I would speak to him. He's not a bad fella. But we have to fight. Don't forget, in the Civil War, brother killed brother. There's no room for mercy. But I don't bother. I wouldn't urinate on Colin McCarthy. He's a low-life as far as I'm concerned. This is what they're into. They are not Irish nationalists. My people go back in Irish nationalists. There's not one non-Irish piece of blood in me. I can go back to 1750 and get all the names. I'm a proper Irishman. But being a proper Irishman doesn't involve murdering people at this stage in 2022, which is what's tried to be done, and it was tried to be done the other day in the North. I'm for the peaceful resolution of our problems. Now, that's it. I have no time for Colin McCarthy. Couldn't care less about him. A non-entity. Only that if I could poison the people from voting for him, I would do it. Now, you might say these are IRA-connected people. I don't give two damns about them. Don't give two damns about them. A good lump of an ash plant is the thing you need, and that keeps them away. Now, the thing is, a beggar's get is right, says Kevin Martin. Now, a beggar's get is an old northern name. It's kind of Scotch-Irish in a way. A beggar's get was an old saying. It's actually a derivative of the word git from England. If you watch Alf Garnett, old videos of him there in Till Death Does Do Part, he was a kind of a bigoted, racist sort of a fella. He was actually Jewish, and he starred with Booth. Oh, see, that Booth fella, Tony Blair, is married to the daughter, and I met him as well. And that he used to say, "You silly git ya." Well, that's where that comes from, a beggar's get. I don't want to use curse words here on this. I'd only give them an excuse to ban me. Now, Cat says again, I think that's the same Cat, on Bunrock 1937 is the key. That's the Irish Constitution. You want to see how hard it is to plead your rights under the Bunrock, under the Irish Constitution. I'm not making any argument to it. It doesn't add much to my effort. Then there's Evan Halley. My God, Val, imagine if you can, if you from 20 years ago saw this video, you'd be horrified. For pity's sake, take it down before you lose your channel. Madness. Well, I'm not taking it down. If YouTube wants to ban it, go ahead. Now, I'll deal with a bit of that. So then Kat asks, what is mad? The man's 100% spot on. I think this thing about fear, you must remember that although I'm a relatively smart fella and I'm a farmer and cows and all that, I have no fear of anyone. I fear nobody. Nobody. There's nobody going to put fear into me. I never did. I never feared anyone. I never feared it. And now that I'm getting to be a senior citizen, sure, I've had a great life up to now. I couldn't give two damns about these bloody assholes. That's it. I'm sorry for using that word. Then Kamikaze Lizzie says, LZZY, shame on you. Well, unless Kamikaze explains what the shame is it shame on me or is it shame on Matt Carthy or Colin Kearney, or what is the shame? I mean, I can't respond to that because I don't feel any shame. I put my country first, and I love my country and its environment, and I'm fighting for it, and I apologise to nobody. But I have 2 points. I am prepared to debate this with anybody, and if it gets heated, so what? I fear no one. I'd go in with 38 big men and I'd argue with them in the same room, and no matter what happens, I do not fear them. I fear no man. I might fear God a little bit, but not till I'm about another 10 years older. Now, Paddy Moriarty sounds racist. Now, I want to deal with this. I think we have 12 minutes. Surprised the video hasn't been removed. I won't report you, Val, but I will pray for you. Hate. No hate, no hate. Now, the first thing is, if you remark my comments on that video 49.0, I didn't express hatred for Pakistanis, Africans, foreigners of any kind. I'm being told I must hate the Russians now by my government. I'm being told I must hate the Russians, and I do not hate the Russians. And I do not hate Vladimir Putin as such. I would be a bit afraid of him. I'd be wary of him. I don't hate him. But I'm being told it's all right to hate the Russians. As Bob Dylan said in the song God on Our Side, I've learned to hate the Russians all the days of my life. If fight them we're told to, it's them we must fight. I mean, this is the crack. Now, the other thing is, I've never actually ridiculed a black person from Africa. There are 500 million of them waiting to come here. That's what the Swedish Foreign Minister told Michael Martin, our Taoiseach, in the European Parliament. And I don't want them here because we're full up. I want our Irish people to get the resources we voted for and we work for. If people are to come here from Africa, China or anywhere else, well then it has to be in a very controlled fashion. And there's a lot of people here from Poland and Eastern Europe, and I do work with them. Some of them done work for me, and the idea, I hate them. Now, here's the thing about my racism, and I want advice on this. I'm not going to say I hate anyone, but is it an offence or is it wrong to hate the Irish people, bearing in mind that I'm full-blooded Irish? I know it back a long distance. Why can't I hate my own fellow countryman? Nigel Farage said he hated the Conservative Party for what they're doing to Britain. And It's the Irish that vote for Sinn Féin. Fianna Fáil, Fine Gael, Labour, and all these. So I'd like Paddy Moriarty to answer me that. Is it racist? Never mind the legal end of it. Is it morally racist if one expresses hatred for his own countrymen? Is it morally racist for an Icelander to hate his own countrymen? And is it morally racist for a French person to hate his French people? Now, I don't hate all Irish people, but at least half of them vote for the people that are doing this, even though they're the victims. So that's what I'd like Paddy Moriarty to answer, because I have not expressed hatred for people of other cultures. They're coming here, they have bad governments, they're coming here to milk our system. Some of them are coming here to work, some of them are coming here for a better life. We have gone up, our population's increased a lot. So this is the point. I want that cleared up by Paddy Moriarty. Is it racist if the focus of the racism and the dislike is towards one's own countrymen? And it's not, if I were maybe a unionist or some other, an English person living here or Scottish, you might say, well, you're anti-racist. I'm 100% Irish. That's the point. That's where I have these. And that's where I alone am in a position to speak like this. Because I'm the real Mackay. It's bred in me. My Irish language is bred into me. I can no more deny my Irish Gaelic culture, my Irish Gaelic language, than I can deny my own mother. I'm proud of it. So then it says, surprised this video hasn't been removed. Well, perhaps this video here of mine will help to deal with that, because these are very important issues. I have a lot of videos on lots of things, and it'd be a poor day if I can't talk on this. They have banned me a few times. Well, then I'll go over to Rumble, or I'll go over to Daily Motion or something else. But I don't want it to be removed, and I don't think Facebook, or not Facebook, them idiots, I don't think YouTube should remove it, because there is nothing I am saying that I'm telling any of my countrymen or children to dislike a person because they're a different skin colour, a different sexual orientation or anything else. My problem with the LBG stuff is that it's been pushed down our throats as the normal, and that we're asked to exchange it. My problem with the television, every advertisement has at least one third of the people on it, obviously of colour, whereas there's not a third of the people of colour in Ireland yet. But clearly the plans of the television stations and RT is that there will be. And this is to condition us for being in the minority. It's a totally different thing. These people are going to take the houses. They're already taking all the houses. It's already the priority of our government to give our housing away. They couldn't house 50 homeless people in Dublin City over the last 10 years, and they can house 40,000 now, no problem. That's my point. So he says, I won't report you, Val. Well, wait till I get this up a day or two and then report me. Then report me, please. I don't care whether I'm reported or not. And then he says, no hate, no hate, no hate. Well, again, I'll go along with that. No hate of people just because of something they're born with. No hate for them to try to come here and take advantage of the system. They're offered the goodies. They're offered the lotto ticket and with sure to win, and they avail of it. So should we really hate them like that? I mean, because they come here. It's the EU and the Irish government that's bringing them here. And it's my own concern. So I would like Paddy again to explain this no hate. What does he feel about me hating my own countrymen? What does he feel about me hating Sinn Féin, who are ultimately connected to the IRA? What does he feel like me hating the people that killed Garda Patrick Kelly in Ballinamore in 1973? Killed a young recruit guard, Gary Sheehan, shot him through the head. Am I not allowed to hate those people? What about the fella that shot Garda Jerry McCaig down in Limerick in the back of the head while he was minding the pension money for people's pensions? Shot him ruthlessly through the head. Huh? So what type of hate is it? What type of hate is it? And if they shoot me, how do I feel about them? To hell with them. I'd like Paddy Moriarty to explain that. And thank you, Paddy, for making your contribution. It is appreciated. Right, we'll put that up now and see how it goes. I'm trying to whip up a head of steam on this, but we will eventually, if we get this uncontrolled migration stopped. And remember, the Gardaí and the Department of Justice always controlled migration going down the years. That's not a problem. But if we get it stopped, what are we going to do with the ones that's here? Well, I mean, a lot of these people are working, and make it clear, if anyone is here, a nurse from the Philippines, or a doctor here, or working in a quarry, or trying their best, or doing a bit of cleaning, and trying to get out, I wouldn't have the heart to send decent people back. I don't think I could do it. And I realise that. That's why prevention is better than cure. If, on the other hand, they turn out to be criminals, they're not vetted, no one knows what they're up to, they're all mostly men, what do we do with all of these? Where are we going to house them, or what are we going to do? This is a question I'd like to dealt with, but there is no reason anyone looking at me who comes from Poland, who comes from Africa, and comes from anywhere else, and genuinely who is fled persecution and that, to believe that I would send them back. Folks, that's it. I'll leave you on. My heating's after coming on there and it's noisy. I'll see you back. Give me a thumbs up or a thumbs down, and please comment underneath.